Well, Jeff Spiers, or Jiff as the Sky News family knew him, we've missed you. Tonight, a special programme celebrating Jeff's life at Sky and the moments that made him unforgettable. Jeff, or even John Burko, as he was sometimes known.
John Burko. Hello, John. How you've changed. A bit like Doctor Who, really.
We'll hear from colleagues and friends who loved working alongside him.
As a floor manager, Jiff was exemplary.
A look back at his appearance on the climate show.
Blue Ribbon Motoring.
And we revisit the advert he was so proud of.
Whilst planning this video, I've been calling it Jeff, It's What He Would Have Wanted, hopefully capturing the more ridiculously funny side of Jeff. Directing Sky News when Jeff was floor managing was always enhanced by those perfectly timed, wonderfully sarcastic remarks from the studio floor. If things hadn't gone quite to plan, Jeff would pick his moment and deliver something like, "Well, that could have gone a bit better," or just to keep me grounded, "You probably could have directed that a bit better, Kevin." Whenever I sent a particularly dull technical email, he would often send a reply saying, "Noted." Our top-line conversations in Unit 1, well, those can't be repeated. Every single one of them ended the same way. Delete. Our WhatsApps weren't much better. I sent a few to James the other day and his reply summed it up perfectly. I will miss the pictures of desserts, the TV listings, the ingredients tips, the voice notes.
Jeff to Kevin, I've not done this before, so I'm just testing.
And of course, the Facebook screenshots. Here's a Wordle produced by a small selection of Jeff's messages to me. Jeff loved it when I mocked up him presenting news at 10, despite the fact I made absolutely no effort whatsoever with his accent. This is News at 10 with me, Jeff. Hello, lovies. And he was chuffed when I asked him to do a walk-in cameo on the climate show.
Bumper harvest of soft fruit like strawberries. Thanks very much, floor manager Jeff. So why not nip down to the shops and you might find yourself a bargain. Bye.
Well, that's enough from me. Let's hear from some other Sky News lovies.
I was really sad to hear about Jeff, or Jiff, as I and many of us knew him. Jeff, or Jiff, was one of the most fun-loving, great people I worked with, and I worked with some great people. We always had a laugh. We always have fun, and I don't think we never ever had the slightest cross word. Jiff would do something that some floor managers do with their fingers. I can't do it. It'll just look obscene. But the countdown with the fingers, I always said, "Listen, Jiff, I've got an earpiece. I can hear. I don't need that." So occasionally he would do it just to annoy me. How we laughed.
Jeff, he was a paradox, an enigma. He was part man, part woman.
Are we live on air? I would just like to say I'm enjoying working on the debate shows. Is there any audio? Yes. Exciting times at Sky News as we go live tonight for the second of our two debate shows. This time with Michael Gove, Justice Secretary, and it should be a cracking watch, 8 o'clock, Sky News.
Good morning, it's 5 o'clock, this is Sunrise, I'm Alan King.
And I can remember one occasion he was doing something with the scripts and generally sort of all over us. I said, Jiff, put me down, you don't know where I've been. His reply has to be heard in his accent when he said to me, "I think I can guess."
Jeff was wise, but he was also an idiot. He could make you laugh, and he could make you cry.
Jiff, wherever you are, God bless, and thanks for all the fun.
As many will appreciate, live telly can be a little stressful at times, and live news probably in another league on top of that. So always good to travel that path with someone with a great sense of humour who can help you in the studio. As a floor manager, Jiff was exemplary. Whatever seemed to go wrong, even, God forbid, if, say, the director was being a bit of a dick, or my co-presenter was being a bit of a dick, or, God forbid, I was being a bit of a dick, and something hideously goes wrong, the wrong pictures, the wrong words. As we go into the commercial break, Jiff would always be there with a, "Well, that went well," delivered in that characteristic deadpan way, before breaking out into the equally characteristic smile. Good to travel part of our lives together, Jeff. Thank you.
Behind me is multi-storey car park 2. That's where I first met Jeff, when it was the Cromwell Centre.
I'm making a documentary about you. I've actually pulled out of the election just so I can follow you all day.
Brexit election 2100. Look at that. We're on the right rundown.
Perfect.
What about poncing about a bit?
Well, why don't you walk up and down there? Yeah. And I'll speed it up and loop it. But you used to be a model, didn't you?
Yeah. That was a trouser turn.
It's very nice. Is there any other moves?
That's the only one I learned.
Oh. Okay.
Behind me is Unit 1, where I second met Jeff when it was the Sky News Centre.
Jeff, you were always amazing. You would help me carry my bag wherever I was. You would help with all my fussy moments, such as, for example, wanting all the screens turned round. You knew I never liked seeing myself until eventually you would say to me, Anna, we've had a conversation and we think you'd be better on radio. Jeff, I agreed with you at the time. We love you. We miss you. Thank you so much for everything.
Behind me is the glass box, where I third met Jeff. Behind me are the bicycle sheds, where I never met Jeff. Ever.
Dear lovely Jeff, Sky's answer to Brian Ferry. I was very, very lucky that I had him to remind me to make a hairdressing appointment. Unfortunately, I have a double crown. He always top-lined me once a month to say, darling, you need to make a hair appointment because there's a big round patch on the back of your head which is really pissing me off. You probably don't notice it, but I have to look at it. So please, darling, do make a hair appointment. Jeff, miss you. Always loved you. Big kiss.
Well, it's really not the same since Jeff left. Jeff was so good at putting pompous, precious presenters in their place. Is my name in the screen, by the way? It should be in the screen. Much better. When he came back to work after being ill, I remember one day saying I was feeling a bit under the weather, thought I might have a cold coming on, and he looked at me completely straight-faced, completely deadpan, said, "You do know I've had cancer?" And then gave me his huge grin. And after that, every shift I'd say I had a new minor complaint and we'd repeat the silly routine. Good old Jeff. You can see Jeff, the supermodel, here. He really didn't like to talk about his modelling career. Coming up on this special programme, more silliness from Jeff. That's after this very special commercial break.
Auckland to Wellington on just one tank. Blue Ribbon City Driving. Blue Ribbon Styling and Space. 1300 Blue Ribbon Performance. Holden Barina Blue Ribbon Motoring.
Jeff, by the way, I was surprised that was a TV ad. I always thought it was a print ad because he would always come onto set, print out the scripts, and every couple of months, Jeff, usually in his shorts, would include a printout of him sitting in that random car as part of what I assumed was the print ad. And he'd say, "Did you know I was a model?" And we'd say, "Yeah, we did, because you told us about 500 times this year alone." And it's February. Jeff was one of the kindest people I know. One of the funniest. Absolutely one of the funniest. And I always knew he had my back. It's such a stressful environment in rolling news, and I always knew he had my back. When I'd come onto set to begin the shift, he would say, "Don't worry." I think he would call me Kimbers or Leonard. Kimbers, pretty sure. He said, "Don't worry. The white turtle doves are here. We've got them. We will release them as the ident rolls. And your vodka's on the set." Thank you for everything, Jeff. Yeah. Speaking of, here's another dude with a weird accent.
What do I remember about Jeff? He would always make sure the guest had a glass of clean, fresh water. When the guest left the studio, inevitably leaving most of the water behind, Jeff wouldn't throw that water away like a normal person. He'd recycle it, poured it into the kettle, boiled it up, made a cup of tea for the presenter. That is a man ahead of his time in terms of environmental protections.
Well, it's always nice to be on the show with you, Dermot. I enjoy this.
You've never been before.
I know, but the time I've had so far. Exit polls always a bit a bit unpredictable. I don't put any stock in them myself. I'm not sure if we've had them or not, but if we have, I wouldn't believe a word of them.
Why am I doing this? It's not even like... What was that?
Jeffrey Spiers, the logister. Anybody who knew Jeff, spent any time with Jeff, who'd worked with Jeff, knew that attention to detail was his thing. As a floor manager, one of the things Jeff used to do, every single shift, as you took over from him, he'd spend 15 minutes of your shift telling you where everything was, even though you'd done it 100 times before. He'd tell you where the scripts were, how many rewrites had done, who drank tea, who drank coffee, who didn't drink water, but there's fish piss in it. I mean, he would find some reason to stay with you for at least 15 minutes of his shift, sometimes longer, and he'd just fiddle about and faff around. And you just go, Jeff, why are you still here? He's just want to make sure that you've got it all under control. Yeah, what a man, what a mensch. He was a mentor, an employer, and a dear friend. Here's a little clip of one of the last times I saw Jeff before came here to Australia.
Right, get ready to be blown away. This will add another 30 to my IQ.
And only another 10 years to your age.
Eh? You saying I look old with it?
No,
I look intelligent,
you
not
look
old.
23.
I look great. Eh? Oh, thank you. Alright, turn the thing off. I gotta find some anchovy paste.
Jeff, a lot of the stories and the fun we used to have, I do admit a lot of it did used to be at your expense. I loved when we used to get the monitor and turn the display sideways or upside down and just walk out the studio, and you'd be really, really cross running down the corridor after me. I loved that. But you gave as good as you got. And I'll tell you what I did think about the other day, and that was when you were with Alex and you were walking up at Sky, and we all met, and Tom Allen appeared as well, and it was almost like a little meeting of great people who have worked at Sky, and we just chatted in the sunlight, and it was really lovely. And I always remember you saying how much you enjoyed our wedding as well, which was really lovely, and I'm so pleased because that was a great day. You're going to be missed hugely, especially by me, and I've got just fond memories, and that's, I suppose, all you can say, really, isn't it? We had a good time. I'm going to miss you.
So this is the Jeff Spiers Christmas dinner story. The Sky at Christmas, they give free dinners, Christmas dinners out on certain days. So I was up there about 10 years ago, Christmas Eve, and Jeff was there, and by the counter, and he had a tray piled up with loads of takeaway boxes. And I said, "Oh, hey Jeff, are you taking those over to Unit 1 to give to everyone in the gallery or something?" He said, "Oh yeah, mate." So okay, and then we walk out into the car park together, and he's looking a bit shifty. So I say, "Oh, do you want a hand with the boxes?" And he goes, "Well, actually, I'm not even working today. I've just come to pick up these Christmas dinners and put them in my car." "Oh, I thought it was Christmas." I said, "Are you taking them to a homeless shelter to feed the poor and hungry?" And he said, "Nah, mate, they're all for me. I'm sticking them in my freezer. I've got enough to last me till about March." So I thought this was hilarious. So after that, I started calling him the Grinch, but he also found it hilarious. He didn't care. And what he would then do every Christmas became a tradition. He would send me messages telling me how many Christmas dinners he had, how he had to buy a bigger freezer. He thought this was just absolutely hilarious. He didn't care. So that's the sort of guy he was, and very funny, and saw the funny side of things in life. And we're all going to miss him.
Jeff, as I call him. You should never mimic someone's accent, but Jeff, allow me to get away with it. We always used to have a joke that such charm, charisma and wit belonged on camera, not behind the scenes. And he should have been sitting in my chair and I should have been making the cups of tea and holding it all together. I will always remember his kindness and his wry sense of humour, whether it was about fellow presenters or guests. And he was very much a tea and sympathy man. I remember once, minutes before I went on air, I broke up with a boyfriend on the phone and then had to go on and present 6 hours of live TV. And Jeff said, "Don't worry about it, SJ. Here's a cup of tea." He gave me a hug and he said, "He's a bum. He doesn't deserve you." And boy, was he right. Such a wise man. But that was Jeff. He always had the right thing to say, and he was the cool, calm head, keeping things together behind the scenes when everything was falling apart on it. And he would always see the funny side of it with you. What an incredible man, and I feel lucky to have worked with him. And as I said, he is and will be remembered really, really fondly.
There'll be bluebirds over the white cliffs of Dover. Tomorrow, just you wait and see.